with the tabs that they're. I think it's that.
Oh, I'm already on my back.
Yeah.
I'm on my back.
Thanks. Okay. So, find the average. Not funny. So, average, people do different, I don't know, kind of two different ways, I guess. Sometimes people can do them in their head. So, average is just like one number is right in the middle. So, I think a lot of people could just look at that and say, if I got 10 here and 20 here, right in the middle, that is 15. But that gets a little harder to do when we got decimals, you know. So, I want to make sure we know how to do it for real also. What you're doing is adding them up, and then you divide by how many of them there are, which there's only 2 on each of these. So like this is going to be, well you tell me, hold on. A or B? How would you type that in? It's got to be A, right? Because if you do it like this, it's going to do 20 divided by 2, which is 10. 10 plus 10, it's going to tell you the average of these two things is 20, which is not true. It's just got to be in the middle. So you are adding them up, but you have to add them up and then put in the parentheses and then divide by 2. So that'll work every time. Sometimes you guys can do it in your head. Like what's if I'm negative 5 and 5, what's right in the middle of zeros? It's going to be 0. 0 and 40, what's right in the middle?
20.
20. We're doing this one in our head or weird? That's negative 14. It's a little tougher in your head. And the last two are like, I want to make sure you know how to do it in your calculator. So I gave you a couple that are pretty tough to do in your head. Some of you might have been able to though. This is 6, and this is negative 4. Questions on the average? Alright, that's it for your warm-up. Submit it, and I'll pass out what we're doing next.
That storm yesterday, huh?
I like the good stuff. Alright, now what do I do? How do I get this back?
You just hit FL11.
Yeah, but I gotta go back to my computer.
It's like the mask. It's called.
Cooked me.
My apology.
No, it's okay. Why is, where?
Oh, you hit that, but you press the X up there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, I thought it was cool.
I thought it was cool too, and then we got stuck. Maybe there's a way.
You get like a tiny little keyboard that you carry with you when you go up there.
Okay. So midpoint. Midpoint is the average x value, comma, the average y value. So that's why we just did averages. So you are going to label the endpoints. You're trying to find the middle of this line segment. So like somewhere around there maybe. I'm just kind of eyeballing it right now, but it should be somewhere close to there. So we're looking at the two ends. So this guy would be 5, comma, negative 4. And remember, that's x comma y. And then this point up here find the average of the x values and the average of the y values. So the average of the x values, well, what are the two x values that I have? 0 and 5, but be careful, it's this 5, right? It's these two x's, so if you want to find the average, you would add them up and divide by 2. What are my two y values? 5 and negative 4, so if I wanted to find the average, I'll add those up and divide by 2. So if we do that, 0 plus 5, so 5 divided by 2, this is 2.5. And then if you throw that in your calculator, you should get 0.5 for this one. And you can pretty quickly tell if your answer makes sense or not, because it should be in the middle of the line. So 2.5, now you're going to go back and graph it. Go 2.5 and 0.5 is like somewhere around there, which looks to me like it's in the middle, so I feel pretty confident we did it right. You know, if we got some point that was like not even on the line or like way off to the side, you kind of know you screwed up, but here we're good. That's it, that's all so I'm gonna do a couple more, but I got nothing new. I don't think it's too bad. Let's label the points on number 2. That guy's negative 5, comma 0, and then remember that's in the order of x, comma y. And that guy is negative 4, negative 2, also xy. And then your job is to find the average x, comma the average y, and that'll put us right in the middle. Looks like it should be like negative 4.5, comma negative 1, maybe? Let's see. So the average x value, I've got negative 5 and negative 4. Add those up, divide by 2. That will give you negative 4.5. Am I going too fast or are we good?
No, I get it.
Alright, okay. I couldn't tell. Average y, so your y values are the 0 and the negative 2. So you're going to add those up and divide by 2. And you know, I know some of you can do that in your head, some of you want to use your calculator, that's totally fine. This will give me negative 1. So if I go graph that to check that I am actually in the middle, it's right there. Looks like it's in the middle to me, so I feel pretty comfortable that that's correct. Questions on what I'm doing? Give me thumbs. Okay, I got mostly ups, but a couple downs. I'm going to do a couple more. I don't know, one more. I'll do number 4 next. So this guy is, if you think you get it, you don't need me anymore, rock on, that's cool. If you didn't get it, you should probably pay attention. So that guy's 5, comma 3. I'll label my other one, which is 4, comma negative 1. Are you questioning my counting abilities?
Yes, I was.
Remember, that's xy. And then your job is to find the average x. Slash, comma, the average y. You don't have to write average x, average y every time. Like, this is just me trying to teach it. You don't have to write that. 2 x values are 5 and 4. I'm going to add those up and divide by 2. 2 y values are 3 and negative 1. I'm going to add those up and divide by 2. 9 divided by 2, which is 4.5. And then this comes out to 1. If you get a decimal that's not 0.5, you did something wrong. Everything's either a 0.5 or like a 1, a 2, a 3, like a whole number.
You always divide it by 2.
Yeah. So then I go back, 4.5, comma 1 is like right there. I circle it, and I can look and see like, okay, yeah, that is in the middle of the line. Looks good to me. Questions for me? I'll put up the answers, make sure you're showing some work. What are you doing? You should shut up.
About the storm yesterday, huh?
That was quite a storm.
Thank goodness we didn't get the assistant going through Jackson.